Hi, I'm Emma Griffin. I was born in London. I grew up in Kent. I then moved to Nottinghamshire where I spent my teenage years. I went to Lincoln Art College where I met my husband Steve. And then I had 2 children and we moved down to Cornwall about 18 years ago. So during my time at Lincoln Art College, I decided to further my education and go into fashion design because that's what I was drawn to. My dad worked in the leisurewear, menswear trade. During my last year of my degree, I was offered a job which was covering maternity, doing design for menswear, leisurewear. So I took that, and then that soon grew into being the head designer for the company. During that position, I was working between Bedford and London on and off with the same company. I had to work in London 2 days a week and I don't like the tube. So my boss did allow me to have like what you would call now an Uber. I had a taxi that would pick me up from King's Cross, take me to Covent Garden, let me do my job, pick me up, and then if I wanted to go to Harrods or Harvey Nicks, they would wait for me and then deliver me back to King's Cross. So it was quite a good position. Nice. And within that position, I was working not only for the in-house leisurewear brand, I was working for the Queen's Guards, and I was designing things from ties to fleeces to leisurewear to t-shirts for National Trust, so many different areas. Then I went on to working for Hugo Boss and for Gap and Ted Baker, Ben Sherman, lots of UK brands. Then I had my daughter and I decided that I wanted to be around for my daughter, so, and obviously with the fashion, I was travelling abroad, it was long evenings, I wasn't getting home until about 8, half 8 at night. So I looked for a job in the Draper's Record and I got an illustrator job working for Mothercare, which led on to Toys R Us, Next and Gap. So I was the illustrator for those companies. Then that grew into me painting illustrations onto walls for my daughter to amuse her, and then friends and family started asking me to paint murals and painted furniture. So that went into full-on interior design, and I was styling people's homes, I was buying stuff for them, decorating, arranging all these gorgeous homes. Then I was flown to south of France for 2 weeks to paint a range of furniture for somebody which I absolutely loved, and I could take Steve and Holly with me. Then I had my second child, Harry, and my life evolved because I was then really interested in what I've been brought up into the area of what my mum and dad did. So when I moved to Cornwall, I was a bit of a loss to know what to do. 2 young children, so I had this calling to go back to education, and I went to do a part-time fine art degree at Falmouth University, which was amazing because I met incredible women there who are still my friends today. And through that, because I'm very dyslexic, I used the camera to document and also communicate to my teachers what I wanted to say. Through that, through my dissertation, I decided to do interviews like we're doing now with really well-known artists in Cornwall like Jessie Leroy Smith. So I was lucky to meet all these people and interview them and document them in a reportage way with photography. Then I did lots of, I was more of an abstract painter then, and I did a few shows and I sold a lot of work, and it was a really nice period of my life. But through that, the photography kept coming up, and I was hired then to start photographing some Newland fishermen, which is actually what launched my photography business, and did pure storytelling, capturing their ways of work and their lives, as well as artists at the time. Then I went into doing fashion photography because of my background in fashion design. That's an area that I feel comfortable and I know obviously know a lot about. So I've been working with UK brands to photograph their collections, their campaigns, their advertising, and I've done really well with that, and that has been just a beautiful career for me, and I found that very easy.
What boosted you to grow your photography business?
During my 30s, so 30s to 40s, I actually got 3 different types of cancers. So I started with cervical cancer, which went to breast cancer, and then in my final years at Falmouth University, I got cancer of the thyroid. During that time, obviously, it was very difficult, and I had lots of treatments. I lost lots of weight, and it was difficult. And obviously, I had 2 children. My end after having these major treatments with the thyroid, the outcome wasn't going to look very good for me. So they said that I probably wouldn't get to the age of 40, and I was 35 at the time. So I'm a big manifester and a big sort of positive mindset, and I just thought, I'm not going to have that, and I'm going to start up a photography business because that's what all people do, and that's what I thought, that's what I wanted, and that's.
So you didn't want to waste time, you just wanted
didn't want to waste time, and I thought, if this is all the time I've got, then this is what I want to do.
Okay.
So I went all into the photography business and just went for it.
So have you worked with any celebrities, and if so, what's been your favourite one?
Yes, I have worked with celebrities. My favourite one is Sir Roger Moore. I was hired to go and photograph him in Cornwall in a secret location to just do some portraits of him actually staying in this particular venue.
Okay.
And he was a real gentleman, and he liked my hair, and we had a cup of tea, and he was just really lovely.
Very cool. So what has been one of your favourite brands to work with since starting photography?
A local brand actually, called Belle Couture, and she does beautiful sort of Paris French underwear and pyjamas and silk dressing gowns. I've done 3 or 4 campaigns for her, and she just left me to my own devices, which let me be fully creative and just do the story that I wanted to show for her. And then we grew into friends, and then I ended up photographing her own wedding, and that was just been a really lovely relationship because she really understood me.
Do you regret anything in your life or wish you did something differently?
I wish that I didn't worry about what other people think, but I think all women do have that. And also looking back, I have gone through quite a lot of different traumas within my lifetime, and lots of difficulties that I had to face with family and myself. And I truly believe that that has brought me to who I am today, and be able for me to run both my businesses and be the person I am. So I wouldn't regret a thing.
When did you start the Sacred Space?
About 1.5 years ago, my dad passed away, and my dad was a psychic medium as well as other stuff that he used to do in the normal world. And although I work with spirits and I can't change that, that's just how I am, and I do the witchcraft privately. With my dad's passing, I really wanted him to come back so he would give me messages daily. And then a couple of months after my dad's passing, my mum told me she had lung cancer, which turned my world upside down. My mum was also a witch and a very famous tarot reader and publisher. So I decided I needed a space to help my mum with healing, because I'm also a Reiki master as well. And so I started the Sacred Space.
Would you say that your mum inspired and motivated you?
Yes, greatly. My mum was a little bit different, a little bit strange. My mum told me to believe in fairies. She'd make me little fairy books. I'd leave them on my pillow till I was about 15. My mum would be saging the house, and we'd be doing seances when I was in my teenagers. Yeah, she was and is my main inspiration, yeah.
What are the key moments in your spiritual development?
At 18, I did a seance with my family, and I saw my dear granddad who passed 2 years before. And that made me really realise as like a young adult that I could see spirits and be able to message them and have a conversation with them. To be honest, as I've grown up, tried to step away from it to try and do the more normal job. Through my photography, when I worked with clients, I would channel messages and just naturally tell them, but they never knew I was doing that. It was just guidance through their career and their brand and to help them. Then I got pneumonia after travelling to Canada. I got pneumonia and it was really quite bad, and I actually died for a minute in the ambulance before going to the hospital. So I also had this near-death experience, which sort of wakes you up again even after the cancer stuff I've had all of this death thing around me, and then losing both my parents as well. And with my mum, I actually was her carer for the last days of her life, so jointly we did see a lot of spirits around her passing. And so yeah, it was difficult but also a real honour to be. So major shifts as I've sort of grown up.
What did you see when you were announced dead in the ambulance?
I saw me sort of float up out of myself, and it's only me and my husband that know this. I haven't really talked about this. And then I saw a white tunnel, and there's a really bright white light, which everybody says, but there was right at the very end, and then sort of flying past towards me with these really cool light, like orbs flying towards me, and it was very peaceful. And then that's all I can remember.
What's your sacred space? What is it all about?
The sacred space is me as an eclectic witch, which I have been since I was 21. And I'm a psychic medium, so I work with the dead and ghosts and spirits.
Very cool.
And I have done that ever since I was about 4. And I'm also what I would class as like a magical mentor. I help women mainly. Nothing against men, but I help mainly women find their authentic selves and live their true potential life, what they want to do with themselves.
Okay, so you help them and
Yes.
put them in the right direction.
Yes.
Would you say women's mental health is a key subject for you?
It's
with
major.
Your business, or?
Yeah, absolutely major. So many women, especially since COVID or with social media, sort of pushes within us, are sort of don't know their purpose in life. They are very depressed, they have anxiety, they have lots of problems, they don't know who they are. So yeah, I sort of help them find who they should be, how they want to be, and so that they can live more fulfilling life with less depression and no anxiety.
Is there any future plans for the sacred space, or anything for the viewers or followers of your channel to look forward to?
Yes, I'm releasing a spiritual development course where I'm going to hopefully teach people to connect to spirits and how they can work with spirits. That will be a digital online course. I'm also doing a sacred program, which is going to be huge, and it's everything I've ever learned, from spirituality to the home, to the clothes, to your shadow self, to manifestation and magic. So that's a big course I'm working on, so that's going to be a good year or so. I'm also going to be doing a photographic, which is also bringing in the photography, photographic coffee table book about a visual sacred life. And that will be sort of monthly of what you can do and all the sort of tips and stuff that I do to make everything really beautiful and make you feel calm at home. I am also probably, when we've come out of lockdown, I would like to do a UK Q&A tour so I can help other people and they can ask questions. I will be doing a podcast as well, but because of all these ideas, podcast might be the last thing when I have time.
Okay.
So, quite a lot.
Would you say your business is successful?
People seem to think it is. Within the first year and a half, I've helped over 638 women. And my Instagram has grown, so I've now, because of the COVID, I'm working globally. So I'm very grateful for that, and I have a lovely community, and to be able to help people over the world is just amazing.
Do you think people are starting to be more spiritual now?
Yes.
Is it a lockdown thing or is it
Yes.
an educational thing?
I think, well, for me personally, the spiritual awakening happened in my 20s, and it was the most beautiful and terrifying journey. And I think with COVID, everyone's had to look inner and sort of look within themselves. And it's brought up lots of things of there's more to everything that's going on in the world.
Deeper meanings.
Yeah, completely. So it's nice that people are waking up all over the world, and I get to help them as well, so it's a privilege.
Yeah.
The sacred space is who I am, it's how I live my life.